We are already we already got a session from Dr. Lauke Kataria. Actually, he's an allopathy. Basically, he's an allopathy doctor, but he loves acupuncture so much. So he becomes an acupuncturist also. Today, he deals with the clinical applications of 5 elements. Now, we are going to listen him. Lauke Kataria, sir, we are very
Yes.
happily invite you to this platform once again. Thank you, sir. Now you can carry on. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for the introduction. And I welcome all of you wonderful people who has shown so much of faith in this wonderful therapy. So let's not waste too much of time and the formalities. Let's straight away get to the topic. So the topic, as you know, earlier we discussed with the yin yang theory, with the vision of clearing all the kind of the basic concepts. If those are clear with in one's head, so there is no need to just ratta all the just mug up the protocols. You can make your own. For that, you need to have a clear clear concept. The concept should be clear in your head, and those are the very basics. Yin yang, the 5 elements theory. These are like the basic foundations of on the roadway to acupuncture and to be a good acupuncturist, or you can say a healer. So I will be covering this topic, and initially we'll discuss about how we see this 5 element in nature. You all must be aware of it, and then in the human body, how in acupuncture, what are the various applications of it. We'll be going through this way. So let's begin. So this 5 element theory. So the most important thing here is the word element. Okay, what is element? You get an idea about I'm trying to just give you an idea how to look at the picture. So if you know how to look at the picture, the things will get very easy for you. Okay, so what is the element? Where have you else you have heard about the word elements? I remember I was in chemistry. I've heard this word elements. So what is an element in chemistry? So the word elements is it is the very basic fundamental uh, atom of a particular thing, particular atom, which has its own unique sets of uh, physical properties and chemical properties. So in acupuncture, in the elements, as they have their own set of unique properties, like hydrogen has its own, oxygen is a different element, it has its own properties, different set of electrons, neutrons, protons. I'll not get into uh, deep into that. That's not the part of the topic. But because they have a unique set of properties of their own, and which makes them unique. Okay, you cannot further break down. Okay, you can break down into neutrons, electrons. That is not a concern. We are more concerned with the properties of that element. So calcium has its own properties, both physical and chemical. So here in acupuncture, what we are discussing is people saw initially, we discussed the last time the yin yang theory. The people saw the nature and they just broadly classified the things into black and white, yin and yang. Now they further saw, see, this is a very broad classification. There are still further subtypes and subdivisions, and they saw 5 basic kind of processes which occur in nature. Okay, you all must know that, must be knowing about it. So what is the element is these are the five kinds of processes which occur in the nature, in the universe, everywhere it is found, and those processes have their own set of properties. Particular set of properties are they have, and the people's linked those properties to those things which they saw freely around them, like wood or the air, the fire, the metal and water. So they just to make the things easier. So this is what five elements, and what this is what element is. So if you have this kind of vision to this topic, the things will be much easier to understand. Okay, so the school which gave the yin yang theory. Okay, earlier what it was thought, the diseases, the lifestyle disease or any disease was thought to be from a curse or from a evil spirit there. So those kind of thought was that. But a school that is known as naturalist school, they have a naturalistic view. They saw the nature, they observed the nature, and they gave a yin yang theory. So that same school gave this five elements theory as well. So this is an excerpt from a Chinese text which is translated to English. So what it gives an idea of see, the five elements are water, fire, wood, metal, earth. Water moistens downwards, fire plays upwards. So they are what they have said is all the properties, the basic properties of the elements uh, they have told in this. So we'll be studying it further. So as I have told, these five elements are like natural phenomena. They are occurring everywhere in the universe, and similarly in the human body also. And it is the basic, the like we have studied. There are five tastes, five smells, and five seasons. So this is the taste like which we are discussing is more or less not like that particular taste. It's basically the inherent property of that particular element. Like chemical has its own chemical, like calcium has its own chemical composition, like particular sets of 20 electrons and 20 neutrons and those kinds of, and 20 protons. So that is the chemical composition they have. So uh, so water has the property of liquidity. I hope this is very easy to understand. Fluidity, and you can definitely make solutions of it. Fire has heat and combustion. You can ignite it. Then wood as is solid and workability, because carpenters do all kind of workability on them. It can be processed in that way. Then metal has the solidity. It is solid. It is moldable. You can mold into different shapes and congeal. Okay, so it can you can liquefy them and they can again get back to its solid form. Earth has a property of providing nutrition. So you sow a seed, the seed will turn into a plant and further into a tree. So we all take nutrition from the earth. How we take, not indirectly also, like we eat food. The other way is we are having all the time we are in touch with the earth. So that magnetic field is also there. So that is very important for us to survive. So ultimately, these are the basically the processes, the five elements. These are the processes which is occurring in the nature. So as a movement, if we see, so wood has the property. We know that wood expands. Wood has the property of expansion. So we know wood is related to liver. So liver is again wood related to anger. So don't burst in anger. People burst in anger. Burst can only take when there is expansion, never contraction. So burst. Okay. So wood has a property to expand. You give water to wood, it will expand. What happens during the monsoon season? Okay, so fire has the tendency to go upwards because fire is again the heat. It is lighter. It has a property to go upwards. Metal has a property of contraction. How, see, people saw uh, that metal when it came out from like lava, it comes out and it then settles down. So it contains a lot of metals and elements. Different elements are there. So metal again, it can be it can, if you heat it, it will turn into liquid, and when it sets, it always contracts. There are very few exceptions of it. We're not going to that detail, but what they generally saw, people generally saw, so there the the property is contraction as a movement. Water, we all know, it always goes down. If it has to go up, you need to have some motor, or you have to provide some power. Naturally, it always goes down. I think I left. Earth is taken as the center point of reference for stability. The Earth, we'll discuss this point later. We'll come to know later. So examples are the pathological fire. So the heat, the fire, especially in this season, the summer season, it's too much heat in India, and we usually get such kind of patients with headache, heaviness, migraines. It's very common, and all the fire kind of symptoms, it will mostly be found on the upper part of the body. Okay, I remember that there is a patient coming to my clinic, and it's a very special case I'd like to discuss with you. Uh, he's coming to me for the cracked heels, and he's having it from I think past 10 years or so, and he has been to so many various therapies and doctors as well, but it's still the same. So what I found out, he has, according to my diagnosis, it is having too much of thought process is there. So lots of heat is there in his, and that too in the upper part of the body. So medically, if you see, what happens is the lot of the heat is towards the upper part. So this causes the circulation to be on the upper part of the body more, more towards the upper part of the body, and less towards the lower part of the body. So that is causing that dryness and all kind of stuff. So, and he's been coming here for I think past 3 to 4 days, and there is a significant improvement. And it will take some time, yes. So all why I gave this example, because it's a simple case of clear case of the fire is there, a lot of fire, a lot of heat is. He is a teacher, he has to think a lot. Okay. So wood freely flows. It's liver G always. All of you know, it flows in all the direction. The metal is related to lungs, and lungs is linked with skin. So skin, which contains the whole body. So that is what the contraction means here. Water is very clear. Nature has given kidneys on the lower part of the body and not on the upper part of the body. So again, it has a downward movement. And earth is center of earth is in the center, and therefore the pivot of reference. We'll get to this point later. So as far as seasons are concerned, see, spring is a time we always start from wood. Okay, and it is a time for new buds to grow, and they just they just grow during that season after that winter time. So that is a time of birth. All the births, the new births in the nature occurs during that time. Now, fire is a time for growth. So how you can link it clinically, I can tell you. There is less fire in the body, na, I'm just giving a general view. It's not, don't take it very strict with that. But if the fire is very less in the body, na, there will be stunted growth, like cerebral palsy. Case of cerebral palsy is like less fire in the brain. How fire is less in the brain? Because the case of cerebral palsy, what does have, the neurons are not properly developed, and the neurons in the brain, they're like a wire. They're like the wire in the you have in your house. So, and there is a current flowing through those neurons, and when it flows, the current flows through the neurons. You come all the sensations which you feel, all the sense organs, everything which you feel around you, you can feel it if that current flows from one neuron to the other. And this is how a circuit is formed. So if you see, the current itself is heat. Okay, if continuously a current is flowing through a wire, will get heated up. So what happens in case of CP? There is a stunted growth. There is less brain development, least brain development. So fire is definitely required for growth. less fire, less current, less number of neurons, less development, less brain growth. Okay, so in general, fire is required for any kind. You need growth during that time. All the kids you see around you, they'll all jump around. They are like fire. They'll move here and there. A lot of heat is there in their body. But if you see an old person, all the heat, all the energy has gone down, so they will not be able to walk. They have jammed knees, jammed lower back. They have less energy. So this is how you can relate it. I'm just giving an idea how to relate these things. Then metal is a time. Metal is related to autumn, as that is the time to harvest. So how it is related, I'll tell you how why autumn is related. So autumn is a season of dryness, and harvest is always done when when the fruits or the crops are fully grown. And what happens naturally is if you see a fruit, a tree, so it automatically it falls down. Why? Because uh, from the stalk where it is connected to the tree, it dries up gradually and the fruit falls down. So that is the concept which they have taken for metal. Then water is related to winter and for storage. So storage, by now in nature what people saw, say the bears, what they do, the cold-blooded animals, what they do during the winters, they eat a lot of food, or they store a lot of food in their body, and they just go to sleep for 2 to 3 months. So that is a concept they have taken for water, the winter, and the storage. So Earth does not correspond in the last diagram. You see, Earth, we have not. There is no season, but there is a season for it. So at the end of every season, there is a time gap of 10 to 18 days uh, where there is it, every time when the season changes, it is a season of Earth, and you must be aware of the fact that most of the stomach disorders or gastrointestinal disorders, they occur during uh, when the season changes. So in India, people were really thoughtful, and they designed it in such a nice way. Our culture is designed in such a way. So when the season changes, so majorly the season changes, you see, at the time or when winter to summer. Okay, the Holi comes. So and or you can say Navratri comes. So that is a major time when we are on fast. And again, when the Diwali, before Diwali, there is a Navratri fast. Again, people just to take fast for 7 days. So why it is so? Why to take fast? So that because this is a time when the spleen and stomach can get affected easily. So if you are on fast, you eat less, and that will help you to just stay away from all the bad, all the diseases or anything which bad can happen to your stomach. It was very nicely designed by our forefathers. So this is what the significance of Earth is, and spleen belongs to Earth, and we need to take care of it during that time. And most of the gastrointestinal disorders, they just increase during that time. So what are the interrelationships between? So this is what a particular set of properties we have seen. Now how they interact with each other. So all of you must have seen this generating sequence. You know this generating sequence, the controlling sequence. You are aware of it, I know that. But you haven't heard of this cosmological sequence, and this is a very, very important concept which is usually not taken so much care. So in this sequence you see, so what is actually the sequence is the cell, there are various kind of sequences. So there different people saw elements in different way. Okay, but cosmological, generating, controlling, these are the most common things which people saw, which mostly occurs. So cosmological sequence is also has a very important role in our body, and how it does, how it's important, we'll discuss it today in the later part. So in this, see, we always start from what? Okay, but in this sequence, we start from water and then we go to fire. Earth is in the center. Then we go to wood, then metal, and lastly the earth. Okay, so this is the sequence, and this is some the numbers given to it. So we are not concerned with that. That is the totally different. So Chinese theory is a alag theory hai wo. So we are not going to that those details. But this is a broad layout how you see the things, that we start from water. The foundation of everything is in water. Okay, then we go to fire, and there between water and fire there is earth. I'm just giving an idea how things will look like, because fire is heart, earth is spleen and stomach, and water is kidney. So in body also, the arrangement is the same. Okay, so this is a much more clinical way to look at the. This is a more practical approach. So as I told you, in this arrangement, water assumes an important place as it is related to kidney and is the foundation of all the other organs, the kidney yin and kidney yang. And this sequence also bears out the importance of earth being in the center. Okay, so we'll come to these later in much more detail. So you all know the wood, if you ignite it, it will catch fire. The fire will will turn wood into ash, which will become earth, and from earth, if you take earth, it will become metal, and you give heat to the metal, it turns into liquid. And if you give water, uh, uh, then again the wood will grow. So this is the whole concept. You all know about it. Then there is a controlling sequence. Now, let me tell you the most big. You know all these things. I'll tell you the most important why these sequences are important. See, if you see anything, if it grows, okay. So these generating sequence and the controlling sequence, these are like they are there to balance. They are normal. These are physiological. These are definitely required. If one is not there, the other will grow. So, for example, if wood is more, okay, then fire will grow. The fire will again grow. The earth will more grow. So the whole cycle will uh, keep on increasing and increasing. So what happens in cancer? Cancer, there is uncontrolled cell growth. Okay, so this will happen later on. I'm not saying cancer will happen, but a kind of situation similar to what happens in cancer. Uncontrollable growth is there. So what we need to do, we need to keep a check on this growth, and this growth can be checked by the controlling sequence. And both of these sequence are like na physiological in that is to keep everything normal and in balance. So there is also an interrelationship between generating and controlling signal. For example, wood controls, I told you this, and furthermore, on one hand, wood controls earth, but on the other hand, it generates fire. So this is a self-regulating balance to keep at all times. Now there is an overacting sequence. So as we saw, there is controlling. What happens in overacting? That balance is broken, and for example, a wood controls earth, but if it is controlling too much, so that is a problem. That physiology, that normal limit is broken, and that is the problem. So this happens in pathology, in disease. This happens. The overacting sequence is basically pathology, the problem, the disease. We'll cover it in much detail. Then there is insulting sequence. What happens? Earlier the wood was acting too much on earth. Now earth, what happens? Just the opposite happens. The earth uh, suppresses the wood. So it is absolutely opposite to the overacting sequence. So again, this is a pathology. Normally it should not happen, but this is a pathology. This is the disease state. So first two sequences are deal with the normal balance among the elements, while the second two deal with the abnormal relationship among the elements that take place when the balance is broken. So this is important to understand. And this is the only thing rest you know. And this chart, all of you know, in Sujok also, in acupuncture, acupressure, everywhere. You have seen this chart. So I'm not going into much detail. Straight away, we'll come to the point: the 5 elements in the Chinese medicine. Okay, so we'll be discussing in the five 5 topics: the physiology, pathology, diagnosis, treatment, and dietary and herbal therapy. So how it is in physiology? Let's start. So the relationship among the 5 elements are like the model of relationship among the internal organs. So we know what is related to liver, and all the organs are assigned, and various tissues, smells, okay, colors, what we see. So these things helps in diagnosis. Let me tell you, these things helps in making our diagnosis to some extent, but we cannot be rigid. So before starting, let me tell you this: don't just be very rigid with these things. This 5 element theory is one way of looking at the things. We'll discuss it in more detail, because there are other things also to consider while making a diagnosis. When a patient comes, it is not only you have to see in yin yang, or it is not only in the 5 element theory which we have to see. We have to see the other things, the organ function, its own pathology. Then we have to see the things. We'll be covering it. So this is the liver, the fire is related to heart, the spleen is related to earth, lungs related to metal, kidney. So this is all now. So what I was discussing is, so this relationship, as I told you, there are various ways to look at the things. See, generating sequence is one way, cosmological sequence is another way. So this is not a very, don't just stick to it. People, but because I'm not talking about people, I'm talking about myself. When I studied this, and how I used to do that, the mistake was I just look at the things in, I just used to see the things in this 5 element relationship. Okay. So mostly I was wrong, mostly. So few cases I was able to find out. Okay, so this I was able to link that this theory in practicality. It is there. I'm not saying it is not there, but it is not the only thing which you need to see. As yin yang is one way of looking at the things, and you can have an idea of how you take and how you make a diagnosis. This is another way to look at the things. So although this model can be extremely useful in clinical practice, and it is, one should not lose sight of the actual organ functions. So as I told you, organ functions are very, very important part. We cannot neglect them. Mostly these are organs and their functions and their pathologies are more important. But in a very chronic case, usually this happens. Okay, the 5 element relationships come, what I have seen in the practice. So in other words, we should not make the mistake of using the 5 element model in practice in isolation from the actual organ function. Okay. So it must be stressed, however, that not all the 5 element relationships are equally meaningful as a model of organ function interaction. For example, generating relationship between kidneys and liver has a deep implication in practice. How? Because kidney yin, if it is deficient, so in long run, liver yin will get deficient because kidney is the mother of liver. But if you see, uh, heart and spleen does not have this kind of relationship. Clinically, they are not. We don't see the clinical application much. Okay, although she provides the spleen, the energy to transform, but that is of less importance in the clinical practice. So that's why I'm saying don't just stick to it. I made that mistake, you should not. Learn from my mistake. So one should not lose sight of the fact that generating and controlling sequence are only the two of the possible models of relationship among, as I told you, this is one way of to look at the things, the generating, controlling, overacting, insulting, all that kind of things. And but cosmological sequence has a much wider implications in clinical practice. So you should also consider that sequence. So let's see a few examples of generating sequence. So liver is the mother of heart. Yes, it is. And we all know liver stores blood. If you don't know, don't worry. I'll just give you those who know, they will understand. If you don't know about the functions of liver according to TCM theories, don't worry, we'll be covering in the later parts. Just listen to it. Okay, so livers has a property of storing blood. I'll tell you later how medically they are related. Okay, and the blood houses the mind. So what happens? The mind has a residence in blood. So those patients who have blood deficiency, they will not be able to sleep properly. Usually, what happens? Usually in females, this is very common. They have blood deficiency overall. It can be liver blood deficiency, spleen blood deficiency, heart blood deficiency. Okay, so if that is deficient, it's so suppose if liver blood is weak or it is deficient, so in long run it will lead to heart blood deficiency, which has implications on, especially what we see is the patient will complain of I have I take a lot of time to go to sleep. It takes a lot of I just lie down for long hours and for 1 hour or 1.5 hour. It takes too much time to get me sleep. But when I get to after I get sleep, I get into sleep. Then there is no issue. It doesn't break, or there will be dreaming also. And in severe cases, it can lead to some depression. Okay, so heart blood deficiency. Actually, heart blood deficiency is the main cause, but in liver blood deficiency, it can also occur. So they both are interlinked, liver and blood and heart. Okay, so they are interlinked. So liver is the mother of heart. Heart is the mother of spleen. So as I told you, this has less clinical implications, but heart chi pushes the blood and thus helps the spleen function of transportation. As I told you earlier, that spleen has the function of transportation and transforming the food. So it extracts food chi from the food. It breaks down and heart chi, what you say clinically is like like the blood is required for spleen to do that all kind of functions. Okay. Just try to understand in those sense. So so spleen is the mother of lungs. Yes, it is, because what happens, the spleen extracts food chi from food, and then it then it transports that food chi to lungs. Okay, and from lungs the food chi they mix with the air. Okay, they mix with the air and they form a gathering chi. So again, this is a big topic. It's not a small topic. We'll be discussing it in the further lectures, but it is just an example for you to, you should understand how we are linking this, how spleen is the mother of lungs clinically. So clinically, what we see usually, those who are spleen deficient in chronic cases, the lungs also get deficient. Lung chi deficiency is there. So patient will come with weak voice, less appetite, lethargy, weakness. A dull patient will be there. So that is also very common in clinics. So examples of generating sequence, we continue. The lungs are the mother of kidney. So we know that lung chi descends to meet kidney. Okay, so when we exhale, okay, there are two processes while we take breath. So one is inhale and the other is exhale when we take out the air. So when we exhale, that is the time when the lung chi descends to meet kidney chi, and that is also the time when the lung chi that moves to the pores, the sweat pores. So sweat also goes out during that time. So, and this that way the lung chi is related. Lungs is the mother of kidneys. So kidneys are the mother of liver. As I told you, kidney yin is the kidney yin is the mother of all the yin, and it nourishes the liver blood. And kidney controls the bones, and the liver controls the sinews. Sinews, you can understand the sinews are the ligaments. Okay, the bone is attached to the muscles through the ligaments. So though the muscles are related to spleen, but ligaments are related to liver, and the bones are related to kidneys. And you know that the ligaments are like uh, we say the soft bone. The soft bone is like more or less like cartilage, but yes, you can also the way of understanding is the soft bone is more or less the ligament. You are all must be aware of it, I hope. So examples of controlling sequence now. So liver controls the stomach and spleen. How? So liver has now liver chi goes in all the directions. Okay, and it has a function of assisting the spleen and stomach chi. It has that it assists. Basically, it is assist. When the problem start is when it over controls. Okay, when it overact, then the problem comes. So what liver chi helps is it helps the stomach chi to go down, okay, and spleen chi to go up. Okay, that is the normal direction of the stomach chi and the spleen chi. So it helps in the stomach and spleen to go in their normal direction. Okay, it is only when the controlling function gets out of hand, and which case it is called overacting. So this overacting, I'll tell you, is mostly seen in inflammatory bowel disease, inflammatory bowel syndrome, IBS, very common, colitis, whatever you say, Crohn's disease. So it is very common these days and has a wonderful treatment in acupuncture. And I have seen this mostly in those people who are in IT sector. I usually see those who are having a lot of whose thought process continuously is there. They keep on thinking. So it's very common in those people. Okay, so when the controlling function gets out of control, this leads to the liver is suppressing the spleen. Sometimes in those cases, what happens? The liver is suppressing the spleen, and sometimes the spleen is suppressing the liver. So both can happen. Okay. So heart controls the lung. So how heart controls the lungs is heart and lungs, as you know, for the blood circulation, for a good and COVID is a very good. I'll give you this example how heart controls the lungs. They all they do work in sync. How? So I have this case after post COVID, a very common issue coming is that the heart rate is high. Okay, tachycardia is there more than 100 beats. That is known as tachycardia medically. So the patient coming to me that I have sustained rise in the heartbeat. So what is the reason for that? I found that those who were affected very severely, whose damage was more, whose fibrosis was more in the lungs. So what happens? There is a less amount of functioning of lungs, which leads to less amount of oxygen. Okay, carrying capacity by lungs. Okay, so that means that body uh, is having comparatively less amount of oxygen. What you it's not related to oxygen saturation. That is a different concept. Okay, so what happens is, but body needs that continuous amount of a standard amount of oxygen is required to all the tissues. Okay, so what heart does is, the one way to do is the heart starts pumping at a faster rate, so that the less oxygen carrying blood is transported to the tissues. So tissues will receive that same amount of oxygen. So this is what is happening. Okay, how this they do sync? They are in sync with each other. So what I did, I tonify the lungs, and within 2 days the pulse came down. It came down with between 90 and 100. Okay, this is how you can clinically correlate things. The spleen controls the kidney, and spleen and kidneys both have the function of transforming the fluids. They are very important because in swelling, okay, water transport and all that is mainly related to spleen, lungs, and kidneys. So mostly the major part is taken care by kidneys and spleen, and they both interact with each other. Okay, so spleen has a function of transforming and transporting fluids, and kidney has the process of transformation and excretion of fluids. Examples of controlling sequence is lungs control the liver. How? So we see lung has, when we actually the liver has the uh, liver chi flows in all the direction, but uh, when we compare it with lungs, so lungs chi descends down, okay, it comes down, and liver chi in reference to lungs it goes up. So clinically, if lungs are weak, okay, so what will happen? The liver chi will be free to go. Okay, so he's like a liver is more or less like a gunda. If you will not stop in, it will go. He will go everywhere and create some nonsense. It will cause some problem. So if we see clinically like liver yang rising upwards, and excuse me, this there is too much of. I think someone is doing it. Please rub it. I don't know how to rub it. It's distracting me. Okay. Now kidneys control heart. Kidneys and heart are very, very important. They mutually assist each other, and this axis is very important as far as the hormonal medically. If you see that the hormonal balance is concerned, this is very important pathway, a very big topic itself. But just to understand, mostly I'll give you an example. This disturbs mostly in post menopause. It usually get disturbed post menopause. All the hormones are uh, they get disturbed. Different reason for that. Kidney yin gets down, and so kidneys are not able to link to heart. Different theory and big topic to cover. So as far as cosmological sequence is concerned, as I told you, we start from water or kidneys, and we'll discuss this theory in these points. So we'll start with water as a foundation, and we know we start with water. Usually we start from wood, but in this theory we start with water. And as we know, and it has a significance, I'll tell you, because you know, from all the yin and all the yang, they just starts. They just originate from kidneys. So water is the beginning. The life originated in water itself. So all the foundation of yin and yang is in kidneys. The essence, the fire of gate of life, they are all found in kidneys. So from this point of view, water can be considered as the foundation of all elements, and rarely it has the big clinical implication. Kidney yin, I have told you this. So it is the origin of liver yin, heart yin. Kidney yang is the origin for spleen yang and lung qi. Don't worry if you don't know. In the later classes, we'll be covering these things. Kidney store the essence, which is the material foundation of chi and mind. Yes. So from essence, there is a formation of chi, and again the mind is also formed from essence. Ultimately, everything is formed from essence, as we discussed earlier. That essence is a very a fluid kind of thing. From that, you can just assume an idea. From that, if we heat it up, the chi will go, the vapor will go up, and that is the chi exactly, which is a rarefied form of essence. All in all, everything is essence, but chi is the rarefied form of essence. And if you further rarefy the chi, so that becomes a mind. So everything is connected to essence, and which is related to kidneys. So the other point to understand is there is a relationship between the kidneys and heart. So there is a vertical axis, yes, and let me tell you, there is a direct communication between heart and kidneys. And if you see the generating or the other sequences, the liver gives rise to heart, and then to kidney gives rise to liver and liver gives rise to heart. So in this sequence, we are taking direct communication between heart and kidneys. And as I told you, this is a very important concept as far as the hormones are concerned. Most of the female hormones, the gynecological problems, postmenopausal problems, depressions relating to those things are, are covered in this axis. So again, you can see it reflects the basic balance between yin and yang. So here the yang is heart and the kidneys are the yin. Kidneys govern the water and it has to flow. So interestingly, all of you know the water always goes down, but in this theory, the water goes up and the fire goes down. So it is just to give you an idea that how this thing came up. Let me explain you. See, there is a lot of fire in heart and there is a lot of water, that is coldness in kidneys. So in order to balance, okay, in order to keep a balance, the kidney water must flow to heart so that there is no excess fire. And in order to give some warmth to kidneys, the heart fire must get to the kidneys. Medically, you can understand this is a very, as I told you, it is hormonal. The other is the circulation. Also, the fire is more related to the circulation part, the heart circulation pumping action. Okay, so if it is getting, it is another way to look at this theory. And if they are very well connected, the person is happy, the good hormones are there, everything is going good. If these are disturbed, lot of trouble. So you will find a lot of cases, especially females, uh, in your practice when you see this kidney heart is very, very common. Insomnia, okay, it is another symptom which we see. Insomnia, depression, postmenopausal syndrome, very, very common things. And this relationship also reflects that between essence and mind. Yes, essence related to kidneys, mind related to heart. The essence is the material basis for the mind, and if essence is weak, the mind will necessarily suffer. As I told you, everything is made from essence. So from essence, it is transforming into chi and then into mind. So if essence is itself is weak, so medically what you see essence is a genetic material, you can see. Okay, just try to relate in that way. So genetic material is weak. Yeah, they are child with stunted growth, as I told you, cerebral palsy is one example. So this is how they are linked. The kidney yin is deficient, not enough yin energy goes through the heart. So again, heart yin becomes deficient, and when yin becomes deficient, there is empty heat, as I told you earlier, and that causes the symptoms usually. And this is very common situation in clinical practice, particularly in the woman during menopause. So the second most important thing which we have to see in this cosmological sequence, having a clinical application, is there the stomach and spleen are there in the center, and they are not in the periphery like in generating or controlling sequence. So, and you can see stomach, why it is so much practical, because stomach and spleen, if you see your body, so stomach and spleen, they are exactly situated in the center of your body. Okay, and they are related to they are related to post heaven chi. So what is post heaven chi? So after birth, so before birth is pre heaven and the post heaven is after birth. So after birth, most of the chi production takes place in the by the stomach and spleen. Yes, we eat food and that is how we get energy, and that is transformed into blood. The food gets transformed into blood. This is how we get energy and we are living. So it is so cosmological sequence is telling you about the pre-heaven chi. That is the importance of pre-heaven chi is there. That is kidneys, the essence, okay, and the post-heaven chi also. That is the spleen and stomach as an important thing. And again, I told you the arrangement of, as I told you this, the arrangement of the element in a circle along the generating cycle does not highlight these two important concepts. And for this reason, the tonifying of stomach and spleen indirectly tonifies all the other organs, because these are the root of post heaven chi. So you must apply, uh, just apply some ST36. Why it is such an important point. Okay, there are various reasons for it. One of the reasons is because it is on the stomach channel and it's related to stomach. So post heaven chi gets uh, activated. So whatever you need to do, there are two things I found clinically very effective. See, if the stomach is okay, if his sleep is okay, most of the problem will go away. This is a funda. If you can also apply in your clinical practice, I apply this, and it really gives quick results. Then stomach and spleen as a support for heart. How? Because earth is between the water and fire. The up is fire and below is water. And in practice, stomach and spleen are they are also supporting heart. Why? How? Because they form blood. Spleen and stomach together, they form blood from food. Okay, they transform it, and blood is related to heart very closely. It pumps the blood, you all know. And as far as TCM is concerned, heart is very much related to blood. In all cases of chronic heart chi or heart blood deficiency, and in particular when the rhythm of heart is irregular, it is essential to tonify stomach. So this is a very important. And if you just do a deep needle, okay, in heart patient or such patient with heart patterns, okay, so ST36 is a very important role. If you just put a deep needle on ST36 point, so because the vessel is going down the leg, and that will result in it will activate some uh, it will help the patient with the heart issues or heart patterns. Okay, because the vessel gets activated, and in turn it leads to various reactions leading to which helps the heart or the heart patterns. So as I told you, spleen also produces blood on which the heart depends, and which houses the role of earth in the cycle of seasons. The earth actually belongs to no season. I told you this. And earth does perform the role of replenishment at the end of season, and thus at the end of each season the energy goes back to the earth for regeneration. So you need to tonify your stomach and spleen during the end of each season. As I told you, they are more prone for stomach issues during the change of the seasons. In human body, this reaffirms the importance of stomach and spleen as the center, and thus the stomach and spleen might be tonified at the end of each season, particularly at the end of winter, to regenerate the energy. And this is very important concept now, which we are going to discuss. The vertical axis as a symbol of essence, chi, and mind. So essence is at the top, chi in the middle, and mind. Essence at the bottom, chi in the middle, and mind at the top. So mind related to heart, chi related to stomach and spleen, and essence related to kidneys. Okay, so this axis is very important. The most densest is essence. The further rarefication is with chi, and the rarest, most rarefied is the mind. Okay, and if this is okay, I'm stressing on these three things because in treatment now the patient with the postmenopausal problem or the hormonal issues. So the patient will be we treat only these things by treating balancing this chi, essence, and mind. Most of the problems can be solved, and clinically we see most of the patients suffering some imbalance in this axis. Okay, so treatment is a later part that we will discuss later, but right now it's important to understand the cosmological sequence. So now we are coming to the system of correspondence in 5 element physiology with how they are related to season. So season of as you know, the season of spring is related to wood and wood is related to liver. So during that season, you will see in your clinics that there are more patient, more prone to liver pathology, having liver patterns like migraine, tics, Parkinson, this kind of tremors will be more, stiff neck will be more at that time. I just still remember a case. She came to me uh, and she was suffering from very stiff neck, and I saw her X-ray, and the curvature of neck was not fine. So I just asked, why you are you you are more on the laptop and mobile? So she said, no, I don't. So that gave a very good idea. That was very interesting for me to that if nothing is there. She's the lifestyle is okay. Then why it is so? So the next thing I saw her tongue and I asked, see whether uh, you had migraines or you are having migraines right now. So she said she was having migraines 3 to 4 years back, and she was treated with the pills, the allopathic pills. So she told me ki, she get now there are no more migraines. But let me tell you, allopathy has no treatment for migraine. Actually, what has happened is, so during that time, she had the delivery also. So let me tell you how I see this case. So after delivery, what happens is there is a deficiency of energy in the woman's body. So now that liver energy is not able to go up to the head. Okay, it is just able to reach the neck. So that is why even after there is no lifestyle issue, there is no mobile issue, no laptop issue, still her neck was stiff like anything. So what I treated her for the liver pathology, and just trust me, it took me I think 5 sessions, and she was cured. So that is the importance of diagnosis. If you understand, you never know from where the things will come. I'm telling you this thing, and this will help you clinically some or the other. So this happens during the springtime, and the liver energy just goes everywhere. It just bursts around everywhere. So direction, the east wind. Okay, the wind coming from the east, it causes headaches. Again, the neck stiffness, neck ache. Color is green. Color is green. So if you see greenish face, there most of the chances there is liver involvement. The pathology can be. The taste of wood is is sour. So small amount of sour is good, but if you are taking it in excess, it will be bad for liver. So just you need to keep a balance. It will damage some spleen. Okay. So climate again, wind is very during the springtime. There is a lot of wind blowing, and definitely it cause. I've seen those cases. There is a rush of increase in stiff neck and migraine cases. Okay, during that season, that happens. Those who didn't have throughout the year, they will have few episodes. Sense organs, liver is related to eyes. So liver yin has nourishment. They provide nourishment to the eyes, but it is not the only organ which provides nourishment to the eye. Kidney yin is also there, and lot of chronic eye problems are due to kidney yin deficiency also. The tissues, if you see sinews, as I told you, liver blood nourishes the ligaments, and those with a patient with a knee problem is a very severe case I'm handling right now, and what happens is a very stiff knee is there. So the first thing I did was to put the points for liver. So what they did within 7 days, so it just relaxed the sinews. The physiotherapy part wouldn't help that much. Okay, I did that also, but that didn't help. Ultimately, I had to put some points for liver. So this is how you can clinically correlate everything. Again, the emotion is anger, and those who are those who get angry very easily, so definitely their liver is going to be affected. Their sound will be loud. Anger cannot be done in a low voice. So it is related. The sound is also there. Shouting, you'll be shouting. So this is how I'm just giving an idea how to look at the things. If you need to have a good clinical observation, there are small points related. So now we'll see there is a difference between the 5 element model and the other theories. And yes, there is, as I told you, there is between the cosmological and the generating and the other sequences. And in 5 element theory, what happens is the heart belongs to the emperor fire and is known as the monarch. So heart is known as the monarch. Okay, Raja have. But if you see internal organ theory, so as I told you, the 5 element theory is not the only theory to consider. It is, you can use it in practice. How to use it is, see, usually what happens that initially an organ dysfunction happens. Practically what we see in clinics is usually initially uh, organ dysfunction happens. The organ pathology like liver pathology or heart pathology initially happens. And in the later stages, that organ pathology leads to some kind of the other imbalance with the other organs. Okay, so that pattern can be anyone. It could be generating, it could be uh, it could be overacting, it could be insulting, anything it can be. So, but initially organ pathology happens. So you have to see whether it is the organ pathology itself or it is also affecting the other organs. So as I told you, but from the point of view of internal organ physiology, one could say that kidneys are the emperor because yes, everything originates from the kidneys, the yin and yang. But according to 5 element theory, the heart is the fire pertains to heart. Yes, and this may be true from the 5 element point of view, but again from the another point of view, the physical physiological fire originates from the kidneys. The eyes pertains to wood. See, eyes, as I told you, they are pertains to wood. Liver yin nourishes eye, but it is not the only organ. You have to see. Its eyes do get suffer, but in most of the chronic eye problems are related to kidney yin deficiency, and it can be due to like conjunctivitis. It happens, the red eye which you get. So it could be due to wind heat. Okay, that is due to wind heat also. So it is not only you have to treat the liver. It is that you have there are other organs also involved. So you have to see accordingly. So this is what I have told you. The heart channel also reaches the eye via connecting channel, and some acute eye problems such as acute conjunctivitis are often related to no organ but simply due to exterior wind heat. So many other channels are related to the eyes, such as lungs, small intestine. So you have to see which organ or which channel is involved. The tongue is related to fire. Again, these all the tongue is related to heart. That is true, but it is not the only thing. Okay, you on the tongue there is the whole diagnosis is there. So all the organs are there on tongue and they affect the tongue some way or the other. That you must know. The ears in the same way. Okay, they are related to kidneys, but it is not only the external wind heat can affect and cause inflammation. Okay, so this is will be discovering. This was the whole physiology part. From tomorrow, we'll be discussing this pathology part also. Okay, so I'll stop here itself. So if you have any questions, you can ask me.
Thank you, Dr. Love Kataria, for giving a very nice session, very knowledgeable session. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we will open the forum for the persons who want to ask more doubts. They can get clarification with Dr. Kataria. Now we have one request, no? Actually, this is a free session, but there is so many effort behind each free session. As we have to organize the session and the trainer has to come and prepare for all these. So you have to give some value for that. Whatever be the knowledge, that should be valuable knowledge. Okay. So we have to give respect for the trainer as well as for the organizers. Okay. Thank you so much. Vijay, first you got the chance to get your doubt clear.
Yeah, thank you, madam. Sir, just a basic question. Why air is not included in 5 element as it's more important than it's also equally important, right? So metal compared with metal, I could not understand this concept.
Please repeat because your voice is not very clear.
My question is why air is not included in the 5 elements, part of 5 elements.
Air.
Yeah, air, yeah, correct.
So see, Chinese way of looking at, see, the things are similar. Okay, air is wind. Okay, here in Ayurveda we take air. Here it is wind, the wood. It is the same.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So how about metal?
So metal is what we have here. Let me tell you. Ayurveda, there is a different way of looking at the things. Air, fire, earth. Metal is, I'm just forgetting. Sorry for that. Space. Akash. Hello. Metal is Akash.
Now the chance for Satyabhama. Satyabhama, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thanks for organizing this wonderful session, ma'am. It's very informative and useful, ma'am. Sir, actually, I too have the same doubt as a previous person asked, sir. What's the difference between that air and wind, sir?
Air and wind.
Yes, sir.
See, in Ayurveda, there is no difference actually. Okay, in acupuncture, we see that things we just the terminology is different. There they take as in China they called as wood. Okay, in India we called it as air. This is the only difference. Most of because ना हम लोग उसमें क्या करते हैं ये आपका जो space we take, okay, in Ayurveda it is the lungs, the metal.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the organs are similarly related. Vat problem. Okay, the Vat Pitta Kapha is a different concept. So don't get too much confused. It is one way of understanding the things. Okay, everything is the same in nature. It is not the 5 elements in Ayurveda are different and the elements are the same. The 5 physical properties are the same. Only the terminology is different. They called it something else. You called it something else. You called it covaxin. We called something else. You can give another name to it.
Okay, sir. For we have the pattern as a wind rising, so we connect it to only liver, sir. We are not considering the lung element.
Pardon, I don't understand your question.
Sir, when you say that the pattern wind rising,
liver wind rising.
That is, we are connecting it only to liver, but we are not considering the lungs, sir.
No.
As if it is air and wind is same, you told,
no,
sir.
Because wind is related to liver, na? That is why.
Okay.
That is why we are because wood, wind, liver. They are all the same thing. And that is what is wind. Okay, what happens in wind? Let me tell you. The space is metal. Okay, let me tell you this. The space is metal here. So what is wind? What happens with wind? Wind blows suddenly. Okay. Suddenly something will happen. That is, a wind will come and something destruction will happen. So most of the pathology with liver, like liver wind, what is liver wind? Tremors which you see, or Parkinson. People keeps on shaking their hands and the body. So what is that? Any kind of abrupt movement, sudden movement, that is wind.
Okay.
So wind moves in that fashion, sudden movement.
Okay.
So that is what they took it from nature. People observe that thing in the body. So this is wind. Anything suddenly which is coming, that is related to liver. So that is liver wind, which you are talking about. Liver yang rising, it is different. Liver wind is different. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So if you say there's a paralysis means it is liver wind is down. You can say like that, sir.
Pardon?
In paralysis case, sir,
Yeah.
we can say that liver wind is deficient. Can we say like that, sir?
In paralysis, what I think there's some
Sir,
problem.
in Parkinson's, that is more movement. So in paralysis, there's no movement.
Yeah.
So can we take it as liver wind is
I'll explain
deficient?
you. I'll explain it. Very good question. So what happens in paralysis is, see, medically what happens, there is some kind of usually there is some kind of problem with the blood supply in brain. Okay. So how it can happen? Either there is some blockage first.
Yes.
That is like phlegm. Blockage is always like a phlegm. Okay. So
Okay.
it can also be due to phlegm obstructing the vessels. The other is if there is a sudden rise in the BP. Okay, I'll tell you what is sudden rise in BP. If there is a sudden rise in BP,
Okay.
so what it will do? It will just burst the blood vessel. I
Blood
told
vessel.
you what is the bursting action. That is liver yang rising. Okay.
Okay.
Expansion, that is related to liver. So that sudden rise in BP is
Okay.
liver yang rising. So that is related to that liver yang rising is causing that problem, or phlegm, like blood clot. Blood clot is like phlegm. Okay, that is related to phlegm.
Okay.
That is creating some kind of obstruction, which is leading to a pathology, which is like wind in nature. Okay, there is no wind blowing, no wind, no movement. So there is no wind blowing now. Getting my point?
Okay, sir. Okay.
I hope I am clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Now Mallikarjuna Murthy.
Sir, I would like to congratulate Dr. Kataria, where he finds he makes an effort to combine the allopathy
Just
and
a
also.
minute. Your voice, I'm not. Bilkul, I'm
Oh,
not-
hello. Am I audible, sir? Am I audible now?
You are audible, but
Oh, disturbance. Oh, there
there's
is no
some
mic, I
disturbance.
think. So.
Just wait. Let me check from my end. Just wait. Now please continue.
Now I'm audible, sir, Dr. Kataria?
I'm not able to.
No.
Just a minute. Let me change.
I'm speaking through mic now.
Mallikarjuna Murthy, you are very much audible, but I think he got some problem with that
continue.
answer.
Now I can hear
Sir,
you.
now I'm speaking through mic. Is it okay, sir?
Yeah. Please continue now.
Okay. First, I would like to congratulate Dr. Kataria, where today his lecture, where he combines the allopathy as well as acupuncture and 5 elements. So now my question is,
Yeah, please continue.
yes, sir. Sir, my question is how to correlate the diagnostic and clinical test reports with physical body organ symptoms and the 5 elements and the acupressure.
Sir, that is
Reality.
a very small question, but that is a very big one of the. I need to take so many sessions for that.
Okay.
Okay, that is a very big topic itself.
Correct.
And
just simple.
These questions also come to my mind, and I have tried to correlate everything. I've tried to correlate. Okay.
Yes.
So just wait, and I'll be organizing these sessions. Okay, gradually. I'll take out my time for that because it takes a lot of effort to make a PPT.
Okay, sir. Correct.
So I'll try to get that session also.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much.
Manisha.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for the session. Sir, my question is like sometimes we have sweating on the hands and feet, like some people have. So that is like what like allopathy doctors generally can't tell. They give vitamin tablets and all, and that's it. So sweating of
So,
the continuous heat
so
and
that is
sweating of the
mostly I'm telling you, mostly due to lung weakness. Mostly. Okay.
lung weakness.
Lungs
Okay.
are lungs are related to skin and the sweat pores. Okay. So if lungs are weak, they are not able to control the opening or closing of pores, which is related, which leads to, okay, what lungs does is they control the opening and closing of pores. So if lungs are weak, they are not able to control the opening and closing, which leads to the
So actually sweating of palms, I mean palms,
yeah. This is what
palms
I'm
and
telling you.
uh,
This is what I'm telling you. The sweating on palms is mostly related to the weak lungs, and weak lungs could be due to excess of liver. Okay, it can also be due to excess of liver. It can be due to deficient spleen also, leading to deficiency in lungs. So you have to check that, or it can be due to itself. The lungs are weak only, so you have to check that accordingly. Mostly, any sweating happening in hands or feet, they are mostly due to deficiency in lungs.
okay, okay, sir. Thank you, sir. When deficiency of lungs, matlab, the heat and the hands are warm also, then it is like heat from the like liver also affecting.
Yeah, it
or
can
something?
happen. Yes, it can also due to the heat. I told you, now we have to see the pattern. What other symptoms are? You cannot straight away say it is due to deficient lungs. It is mostly due to deficient lungs, but you have to see whether it is due to excess of heat or excess of, if there is excess of heat, so there will be, yes, sweating more. There will be more sweating. If you are not consuming enough water, in long run, it will leads to cracks, developing cracks. The heat is will dry up your the skin and will lead to cracks. So you have to check how chronic it is and what are the real causes for that. So that can be done by checking the tongue, pulse, and the other symptoms.
Now, Sohra Anis. Sohra.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. So you spoke about insulting cycle. So what do you mean by insulting here in the sequence?
Okay, so insulting means see, before insulting there was overacting. Okay, so one element, as I told you, in normal physiology, to make a balance, one is generating, the other is uh, controlling. Okay, the other is controlling. So when that controlling goes beyond a particular limit, that becomes overacting. Okay, you are going beyond a limit, that is overacting. Opposite to overacting is insulting.
Sir,
Now,
Yeah.
Satyanarayana.
sir, namaskar, sir.
Yeah.
What should be the ideal proportion of 5 elements in a healthy body? Such as, for example, water in our body, approximately 70%.
Yes.
What about other elements?
Sir, you are talking, sir, in this respect, what you are doing, you are taking water not as an element. Okay. What you आप जो देख रहे हो ना, that is like water itself. We are discussing about water element. Element has, as I told you in the beginning, it has its own unique set of properties. Okay, we are not talking about water, we are talking about water element. Are you getting that point?
Sir. Sir, water would heat a earth, a metal. So what should be the ideal proportion?
So 70% of water is there. So that water which you are talking about now, that is the water itself.
Sir.
Okay, it's not the water element you are talking about.
Sir. So my question is yet not answered, sir.
Pardon?
My question is not clear, sir.
So you are not clear still. So
Sir.
what is a balance in all the, so in
Yes, sir.
order to
Yes, sir.
balance all the elements, you need
Sir.
to do what is told to you by your forefathers. Okay.
Sir.
अब बुरा मत सोचो, बुरा मत करो, बुरा मत देखो. This is what have been told by our forefathers. Time so, time se jago. The lifestyle, all which has been told to you, they'll keep on doing pranayam, keep on doing wake up early, go to bed early, don't sleep late night. Those principles will lead you to make a balance in a proper way. If you are following that biological clock, the Chinese clock accordingly, time se khana khaiye, jaldi mat khaiye, don't eat it quickly, fast. So those lifestyle regulations which were told by our forefathers, they are the key to keep the 5 elements in balance. And in particular, if you want to ask, then we have to see what element is going out of your proportion, or which is deficient, or which one is in excess. I hope I'm clear.
Now, Sadia. Sadia Badul, can you hear me? Sadia?
Yes, ma'am. Hello. Hello, very good evening, sir. So I have a question, sir. Wind, metal, it's in pair, no, sir? Wind means liver and gallbladder. Today we have discussed only in organs only, no, sir? I have that doubt, sir.
Yeah, please continue. What is your
Hello?
question?
Wind means in yang organs, no, sir? Today we have discussed only in organs.
I have
Wind
given you
means liver and
examples for that.
gallbladder.
What is the question you are asking? I don't get that question.
You are saying that liver in deficiency like that, sir. We have till now we have discussed like this one, liver
Okay.
in deficiency, heart deficiency like that. What about that gallbladder, small intestine? I'm talking about yang organs, sir.
Ma'am, I have just given you few examples how we see things clinically. Okay, we are not discussed any organ in particular. Okay, that those were the only examples I have taken which we see in regular clinics. We are not discussing about any intestine part or small intestine, large intestine functions. That will be covering in the further coming lectures when we'll be discussing it step by step. Okay, right now my focus was how you relate things clinically in with the 5 element theory. That was my effort. Okay. And as far as your things are concerned, if you want to study about gallbladder, yes, we'll be studying it, but we'll be studying it as a totally separate thing. We'll be studying all the physiology, we'll be studying the pathology, we'll be studying the diagnosis and treatment, even the treatment part also. So that will be in the later part.
Okay, thank you. Now, Madam Rukmini.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Good evening, sir. Thanks a lot for this knowledgeable session. My question was again in continuation with the lady who asked about lungs. You know, we have both dryness, cracks in either soles or palm, also wet palm. The same person will have both. So what do we, understand that as?
Okay. This happens. Absolutely, I have also seen these cases.
Yeah.
So in those cases, these are like a severe cases. Okay, initially cracks won't happen. Initially those won't happen. So lungs are deficient. If you see from the 5 element perspective, the lungs are getting very, very much deficient, which is causing the sweating also, and which is also causing so there is a you can see in that way there is a less nourishment in the skin, which is leading to cracks. Okay, sweating is something different. Sweating is different. The water content in the skin itself is a different thing.
Okay.
That is controlled by lungs itself. Okay. So if lungs are weak, if lungs are getting weak due to any reason, whether it is due to fire, heart overacting on it, or weak spleen, whatever could be the reason. Mostly it is due to liver affecting lungs. That is the most common reason I have seen in
Okay.
clinics, and which leads to this kind of situation. So both the wet hands along with the cracks, these
Yes.
are like chronic cases, which
Okay.
have been suffering from so long time. So
Sir, can this happen even to children? I have seen it in a child who is
Yeah.
just, 6, 7 years.
Yeah,
And so it can happen to even small children.
yeah, it can happen to them also, but we have to see the pattern, what pattern is involved. Without looking at that pattern, I can't comment on anything without looking at the patient.
Okay. Okay. Fine, sir. Sure. Thank you so much.
Mention not.
Deepthi,
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Deepthi Langwani.
Hi.
Deepthi
I have-
Langani.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You can hear me? Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, you can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. You were speaking about hormonal imbalance and you gave us this essence, chi and mind concept, the heart, stomach, spleen, and the kidney, the
Yeah.
excess of that. Could you, I know somebody with the hormonal imbalance and there is anxiety and leading to depression. So would you be talking tomorrow more on this, or could you elaborate more on that, and how could I handle this case?
This,
Would be,
see, this is a very, very big topic itself.
all right.
Because if you see medically, there is a big pituitary gland involvement,
Yeah.
adrenal gland involvement.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Yeah.
And adrenal gland and the ovaries, lot of things are going in sync.
Yeah.
So that is a very complicated if you see medically. So what I'm trying to tell you in this part is very grossly, I'm just giving you an idea how to look at the things. Okay, so if this thing is disturbed, we'll be doing this. As per this stage
Yeah.
where you are, okay,
Yeah.
you need to go through first. Now, what you are talking about is you straight away want to jump to a treatment
No.
part.
It's not that. I was just asking that this concept which you said, heart, stomach, spleen, and kidney, because this axis which you spoke, it was very interesting, and I know somebody with hormonal imbalance, and I know about endocrine glands. So I was just thinking whether are you going to talk tomorrow more about this, or, and yeah, that's what I was trying to ask, or if you could elaborate more.
Ma'am, we need a separate session
All right,
alone to
all right.
discuss in detail,
Okay,
and that is
okay.
a very important. Let me tell you, allopathy doesn't treat the hormonal endocrine
Yes.
part at all.
I
There is
understand
only
that.
a symptomatic treatment, but
Yes.
let me tell you, acupuncture is one of those ultimate, very, very good treatment. Very good results are possible if you are going for acupuncture. So that needs a lot of attention. I can if you want to ask me, you can ask me separately, but
Okay.
it will not be in much detail because that needs a separate session.
Okay. Thank you so much. Appreciate,
Now,
and I like the
chance
way
for
you
Meetu
explained. Yeah.
Gupta.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Now chance for Meetu Gupta.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Very nice session, sir. Very, very nice session, sir. Sir, I want to know ki if a person is licking his or her hands, and especially on Vata phalanx, what does it signify, sir?
Especially on
On Vata phalanx, on first pores of the fingers, and mainly the whole hand one person is licking. So what does it signifies?
what is the age of the patient?
17 years, sir.
And at what time he licks, and I have to see.
So mostly when the weather is dry, sir, when there is dryness in the weather.
So start licking is so the fingers are dry, chapped.
At times, matlab not the whole day, at times in the day once or twice.
This is a unique case. Without looking at the patient, is very difficult to comment. See, nothing is
Okay.
very in acupuncture. Let me tell you, and in the last session, I also discussed you cannot be very strict with the in acupuncture if you want to really treat the patient from the root cause.
Very true, sir.
Okay, in acupuncture, nothing is very specific. See, one patient with the diabetes will have some problem. The acupuncture diagnosis will be different, and in the other patient it will be different. So you
Very-
have to see accordingly what's going on actually.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you,
So
sir.
I'm sorry for that. You have to discuss this case separately.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Padma Mohare, please unmute and ask your doubt. Padma Mohare.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, sir. Sir, actually, I have some bulky uterus. Whether this bulky uterus, which element is included in this? Is it food element or water element?
I didn't get your question. Please repeat.
Sir, in bulky uterus case,
Bulky uterus.
which
Okay.
element is involved? Excess, which element
So
is in excess?
please, can you tell me what do you mean by bulky uterus? Whether they are fibroids or there is an enlargement of uterus? You are what you are talking about right now?
Both, sir. Enlarged uterus as well fibroid.
Okay. So see, enlarged uterus is different and fibroids are different. Both are different things. Enlargement can be due to the swelling. Okay, so you have to find out the cause for the swelling, why it has gone, why the size has increased, or if they are fibroids. So fibroids are mostly due to the liver blood stasis, mostly due to the blood stasis. So you have to treat for stasis, and there's a wonderful treatment in acupuncture. I personally have treated so many cases, and let me tell you, one was, matlab, I didn't believe that case because it was such a big fibroid which came out from the external opening. Okay, that was such a big. I have the photograph itself. I'll show you. So acupuncture does have that kind of results in fibroids. So fibroid is mostly, it can also be due to phlegm and mostly due to blood stasis. And in case of bulky uterus, bulky, or there is enlargement in uterus, so it could be due to the swelling, mostly due to spleen deficiency, or maybe kidney not doing its own job properly. Mostly. Again, you have to find out what pattern is there, but mostly is the case.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Now, Bulbul Sain.
Thank you, sir, for the wonderful session. Thank you, Joshi sir, Lalita ma'am, and the organizer. Sir, my question is, in case of epilepsy, it comes sudden. Is it due to wind rising?
Yes, it is due to wind, and most of the cases could be due to liver yin deficiency. Chronic cases can also be due to kidney yin deficiency. So yin deficiency can lead to liver wind, okay, which affects the mind. And so wind affecting the mind, okay, the wind is yang. If you see the yin yang theory, if there is a deficiency in yin, the yang will be uncontrolled. It will go away. So it could be due to liver blood deficiency generating the liver wind. This could also be the case. So mostly it is due to some kind of yin deficiency, which is leading to wind occurring in epilepsy. Very, very good results are possible in both in epilepsy and Parkinson also. I have treated Parkinson, very severe cases. And let me tell you, within 2 days, I have seen some brilliant results. If your diagnosis is correct, if you're applying the right points, the patient came to me for that patient used to had that tablet 4 to 5 times a day after just one sitting, and that was a chronic case. Let me tell you, after just one sitting, he was on a single tablet, and I have done these cases. So yes, it is due to the liver wind. The cause of liver wind is due to the yin deficiency or blood deficiency. liver blood deficiency, liver yin deficiency, or kidney yin deficiency.
Thank you, sir.
It has a wonderful results.
Now, Ms. Nirmal.
Yes, thanks for conducting this wonderful session and for the organizers and Dr. Kataria. Doctor, my question.
Can't listen you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, please.
Okay, doctor, particularly to skin diseases like acne or eczema or psoriasis, how we can look in a clinical side according to acupuncture? Can you give an idea on that?
So now this is again itself is a big topic, but most of the skin diseases, as you know, the skin are related to lungs, and lungs are some or the other are affected. So eczema can be due to wind heat, it can be due to liver affecting lungs, it can be due to weak lungs. So they are not, eczema itself has many stages, psoriasis has many stages, so stage wise treatment is what is required. To generalize it, I'll suggest it could mostly, I have seen it liver affecting lungs, okay, liver suppressing lungs, most of the cases in clinics, because they don't come to you at the initial stage, they'll always be coming at a very late stage. Let me share a case of urticaria with you. And I'm very proud of it because that patient has had an history of, the patient age is 60 years, and that patient has a history of asthma since childhood. Then from past 20, when he came to me, so from past 20 years he was having this steroid, okay, urticaria. He was having this urticaria and he was having steroids, continuous steroids from past 20 years. And that one was on a very heavy dose of steroid. I was amazed how this person is keeping himself. So that was a very challenging case. Urticaria, I hope you all must know. There are red spots, itching all over the body, very severe kind of itching, no treatment in allopathy, only steroid, the symptomatic treatment. So I treated him for around 6 months, and definitely I used Sujok also, magnet one. Okay, that magnet therapy also. If he is having some problem at home, you can apply some magnet and get some relief instead of going for steroid. So that person took around 6 months, and I'm very proud that that patient is cured now and he's no more on steroid. And it has been more than a year that he has not taken steroid, and that those episodes are no more there. So the case was, what I'm telling you is, initially that case was of weak lungs, and that person has a history of anxiety. He's very anxious, okay, all the time he's in stress. So in long run, those cases becomes liver attacking the lungs. Those are the kinds of cases mostly in the skin diseases.
Okay, thank you, doctor, for the wonderful explanation. Now the last question from Jaishankar Kumar for today's session. Jaishankar.
Hello. Good evening, ma'am. Thank you for giving the chance, ma'am, and classes. My question is, I have one patient, he's around 35 years, she's a lady, and he have some cyst in the body.
Cyst in
So all over the body.
All over the body, under the skin, huh?
And under the skin, you can feel, if you are touch in the body, you can feel is a cyst inside there. So can I know how can we reduce in that? It's maybe in the lung problem.
No, that could be. So what is the age of the patient and how long she's having that?
She's around 35 years age, and she's suffering from last 3 to 4 years.
3 to 4 years. And
yeah. In early days, it was 1 or 2, but now it's around 10 to 15. They can feel is there in the body.
Okay. So are they painful?
Yeah. Now is painful some cyst, but not all.
Are they growing in size?
It's around you can say like peanut size, maybe small the peanuts, it's around that.
Okay. So this case which you are talking about is, it can be due to, because without looking at the case it's difficult, but it can be due to the phlegm formation. Too much of phlegm formation is there. The cyst formation is related to phlegm. So it could be due to blood stasis also, but the first is phlegm accumulation all over the body due to weak digestion.
Okay.
And this could be the reason. Without looking at the patient's tongue or pulse and looking at the lesions, I cannot 100% comment on that, but this could be the probable cause.
Okay, but when I touch with the allopathy doctor, he told me we can remove it, but maybe it can comes again and again.
Yeah, this is what
But
I'm
he's
telling
not
you.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the problem with the allopathy, na?
Yes.
They won't treat the root cause, why it is being formed, why it is being formed. That should be treated. Cutting is
Yeah.
not the solution. See, suppose you cut the grass, you don't
They
cut
will
it
come
from
again.
the root,
Yeah.
it will come again.
Definitely.
Okay, so you have to find out the root cause why it is coming. So let me tell you, I also had similar kind of
Okay.
2 to 3 nodes in my body when I was in medical college, and these nodes,
Okay.
they are responsible for, I think, these are also one of the reasons for me to getting into acupuncture. Okay.
So it's going to
Yeah, it can
change like it's a
subside. It can
cancer.
subside, but I have to see exactly what is the root cause, and mine have subsided.
Okay.
Acupuncture and diet.
Cyst, yeah, cyst can be changed to go to like a cancer in allopathy
Yeah,
name,
later on. Yes. Later
So-
on it can.
Okay. So what is the solution for that? How can we
Solution
clear
is,
that?
there definitely you have to change some diet. Definitely there you require some changes in your diet. I made so many changes in my diet. And
Okay.
then definitely you need to have some acupuncture sessions continuously, rigorously throughout. I think it'll take around, phlegm is difficult. The most difficult and the most time taking thing is the phlegm to treat. Okay.
Okay.
So you need a longer time, 6 months, 8 months, maybe, but not
Okay.
regularly.
Okay.
At a regular intervals, you need to have some sittings, but not only with acupuncture. You have to take some diet modifications also. That will
Okay.
completely cure it.
Okay. So what's a precaution will be there? Means diet,
Sir, I have
which
to
kind
see
of
the case.
diet?
Without looking at the case, I cannot comment.
No, generally what precaution we have to be suggest
Pardon?
for
Generally?
the patient? What precautions give to for the patients?
Sir, without looking at the
Patient.
patient, how can I comment? And whether it is due to blood stasis or it is due to phlegm, I have to see the case.
Thank you so much, Dr. Love Kataria, to spend your precious time for delivering this valuable knowledge to all the participants in this Yoshi Skilla group. And we are expecting more wonderful knowledge in tomorrow's session also. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. And thank you to Joshi sir and Shoma sir for doing such a wonderful session. And thank you all the participants. Thank you. Good night all. We will meet again tomorrow by 7:45 to get more knowledge from Dr. Love Kataria. Thank you and see you all. Good night.
Thank you.